In the tobacco literature, the self-portrait of Madame Vigée Lebrun is the most widely published smoker's portrait. Her majestic appearance, with plunging neckline and feathered beret, makes an immediate impression. It is a painting with an unusual theme, a smoking woman who slyly smiles at us from behind her pipe drawer, a clay pipe in the raised right hand. In the period of creation, between 1820 and 1840, smoking for women was not done. Ladies of the stand used snuff. Not surprising, therefore, that countless publicists chose this portrait to show pipe smoking in a wider perspective. Alfred Dunhill was the first in 1924 to use the painting as a color illustration in his standard work. Subsequently, the distribution of his book made the portrait known worldwide. Count Corti took over the illustration a few years later, and that is how the print also spread in the German-speaking area. After that, copy after copy emerge, as authors tend to do. Not surprisingly, when the 5th centenary of the tobacco was celebrated in Vienna in 1992, this portrait had a central position on the exhibition. If you want to illustrate smoking in more detail, this painting is eminently suitable. In front of the elegant woman dressed in Scottish fashion and with a fragile clay pipe, there is a box with 2 compartments on which all kinds of smoking equipment is displayed.
Elisabeth Louise Vigée Lebrun is an 18th century French portrait painter. She became incredibly famous at the end of the 18th century in France, and then with the Revolution, packed up her bags, took her daughter and travelled all over Europe. She's a powerhouse. She's someone who's incredibly modern in her work ethic, in the way that she makes a reputation and just gets out there and really kind of conquers the European portrait market. Vigée Lebrun is born in Paris in 1755. She starts out from a relatively modest background. She has some training early on from her father, who is also an artist, but he actually dies when she's only 12, so it's not as if she's got a really long apprenticeship with him. But the family are clearly connected in artistic circles and knows enough other artists to be able to encourage her to continue her studies. Probably that's a real game changer, because for a woman in the 18th century, there are no kind of formal courses for becoming an artist, but she's also just very feisty and independent. So by the time she's 14, she's producing portraits, certainly contributing to the family income.